And good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host and part of the RSG crew. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody has their coffee and breakfast cereals and croissants and whatever it is you use to get yourself going in the morning. Welcome to our Jedi Academy. If you're wondering what the Jedi Academy is, this is where we bring the best and the brightest of YouTubers and game changers and everybody else and add in a sprinkle of madness such as RSG. And this is a Q&A show. That's all it is. It's a Q&A show for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So if you have questions about Galaxy of Heroes in the game in general, or whatever's on your mind about the game or the community, all you need to do is put that information into the chat. And how you ask a question is just put the word question in front of your statement, and we will scoop that up, and then we will go around the corn, as old Grande Patron would say, and we will let our Steam panel answer the questions. So go ahead and get your questions in. We've got Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, here to scoop up all your questions. Dr. Finn, good morning.
Good morning. My breakfast was a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit.
Well, that's pretty yummy. Also join us from across the pond. We've got the one and only Mike Hunt.
Good afternoon. Do you want to say good afternoon to YouTube?
Fucking hell.
Oh my God, no, God.
Oh my God.
Why can't she be a normal girl?
Streaming? Yeah.
God.
When has that stopped her before, Mike? Mike, you know this
knew
was
that was
coming.
going to happen, Mike.
No,
You're a
no.
bad
When
man.
has streaming ever hesitated her to say that? Ever?
God, Mike.
Ever?
I am currently in. She's been promoted from dancing to driving, daughter. She's just picked up her new car, and I'm going to get out and kiss the ground because we made the first journey safely. Cheers for that.
Oh, my God.
Okay, Houston, the Eagle has landed.
Okay.
Yeah. Now mute your mic and get into a safe space.
Yes.
I will try. Yeah, I will do that right now.
You're very, very
Good
bad.
afternoon.
You're a very bad man, Mike. You did that on purpose. All right. Someone who will not be dropping F bombs with their familia is the one and only good old Maurice.
How's it going? I don't think I can top that.
No, you can't. Good job. Don't even try. Also joining us on his way to work with his own version of coffee and breakfast, the one and only Warrior.
Hey, what is happening? I am here now.
Oh, you're at work. Okay, good. Okay,
Yep.
perfect timing. Hey, see how that worked out? Science. All right, so go ahead and get your questions in. We will start scooping them up while that is happening. Couple things. Give us a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe. Not just us, but these other guys. We'll go to more of that when we allow everybody to pimp their stuff at the end of the show. We've got the ACS stuff, and Dr. Finn, we got a pretty... we got some great stuff for the American Cancer Society marathon run that we're doing, half marathon. One of them involves our boy Warrior here. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So I want to talk about 3 things that are on it. So first, where can you guys find all of this information? So in the description of the YouTube video and periodically popping up with Nightbot, there is a link to either our website, the Reality Skewed Gamers website, where you guys can go and see all of the information about the ACS page. And when you go there, there are 2 ways you can go. You can donate directly to the American Cancer Society, or you can donate through Tiltify. And we have a lot of fun stuff for you guys on Tiltify. So 3 things that are on Tiltify. The first thing is an update from yesterday. The wristbands are in, Ranger.
Yay!
The Stu Strong wristbands.
Word.
And so if you go to the Tiltify page and you click on rewards, you will see the official RSG's hashtag Stu Strong campaign wristbands. So you guys can go there and get one of those. Again, all the proceeds are going directly to the American Cancer Society. So this is our way of showing our support not only for the American Cancer Society, but also for Stu. And if you're on our Discord, we have a hashtag Stu Strong channel where you can post your Stu Strong merch as well. We also have people from the community that are donating stuff, and our own from Jedi Academy, Warrior from Warrior Presents, is donating something that he never does. He is donating the ability for you guys to pick his Zeta. And if you know Warrior, Warrior is not one to mess around with his Zetas. I've looked at his roster. There is not a waste Zeta in the bunch. And so if you guys need a little background also, when Warrior beat Arnold in a bet and Arnold had to Zeta something a Warrior's choice. Warrior selected Wampa. So he didn't even want Arnold to waste a Zeta. So, that being said, for the American Cancer Society, Warrior is willing to put up a Zeta. So if you go into Tiltify and you click on challenges, there is a challenge for Warrior to put a Zeta on a character of the viewer's choice. And we have a poll set up for that, but we need to fill that challenge up first. So go to the Tiltify page, donate to that challenge, and let's get Warrior to waste a Zeta. For all of you guys that are in Wallet Warriors, BHZ, who else? Mighty Chlorians, Dark Lords, whoever else. All you people that are facing TI. Make Warrior waste his Zeta and make your life easier.
And he really wants Bodhi Rook, so let's make sure we get that squared away. That we get Bodhi Rook picked.
You're evil.
Well, that's what you said. Yeah, no, it's. I think that's what you said. You said that Bodhi Rook was. You love the pilot from Rogue One, and I'm just trying to help you out there, Warrior.
They could always have mercy on my soul, and they could always pick mission.
Yeah. So right now.
So what Warrior's saying? Yeah. So what Warrior's saying is he wants Bodhi Rook. So.
That's how I'm gonna end up with Rose Tico. It's just sad.
Oh, you're well on your way to getting a Rose Tico.
I know. There was a little bit of a surge for Clone Wars Chewie, but that was ended very quickly.
You know, Rose Taco is not going to allow you to.
I know.
It just
there was a glimmer of hope. So if you guys want to make sure that Warrior does that Zeta, he's again put it up for fundraising for the American Cancer Society. So we very much are thankful for Warrior for doing that.
Yes, we are.
Make sure that you guys donate to that challenge. And then lastly, our big grand prize, our final goal for this campaign is 15,000. We are currently over 10%, Mark Ranger. We are at $1,506.01.
Yay!
So we are over the 10% mark. So thank you all so much. We are doing a mega stream on December 15th, where we'll be streaming for 12 hours, and we'll have a bunch of games and stuff going on during that time. So make sure you guys check that out. But when we hit our 15,000 goal, we have a really awesome prize that was donated by Sword of the Jedi for us. Now, if you know Sword of the Jedi makes lightsabers. Loki was in awe of Sword of the Jedi's lightsabers because Loki will buy kits and he will put it together, and his lightsabers are awesome. He's gotten myself one, he's gotten Ranger and Grande one. I mean, they're fantastic. Sword of the Jedi machines it. And so he has given us a lightsaber that we will give away once we hit the 15,000 mark on our Tiltify. Now, how are you eligible to get that lightsaber? Simple. Donate either on the ACS site or donate onto Tiltify. Every dollar that you donate will count towards an entry for the lightsaber. So you can not only donate to make Warrior use up a Zeta, but at the same time you will get entries to the lightsaber raffle that will happen when we hit the 15,000 goal. And we're going to be creating some videos and some pictures in order to showcase the lightsabers so you guys can see it. It is designed as Mara Jade's lightsaber, and it is really cool looking. Like there's a lot of intricate details and stuff on that. So make sure that you guys check that out. Again, every dollar that you donate on the Tiltify or American Cancer Society page will go towards an entry into that lightsaber drawing that will happen when we hit 15,000. So those are kind of the three big things. We have a bunch of other stuff that are on the Tiltify, but we want to make sure that we start getting to questions and stuff as well. So make sure that you go to the Tiltify page, check out the rewards, check out the challenges, make sure that you get that done. There's a shirt, there's a challenge for Grande wearing a shirt that says I am CG Carey's pool boy when we go to Disney. There is one where I will wear a silver wig with rhinestones and glitter to our dinner with the American Cancer Society, so they're going to think I'm an idiot in our first meeting. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, so make sure that you guys go in there, check it out, and find something fun for you guys to donate. It'll be for a good cause, and it'll also be to torture us a little bit.
That's right. And remember, Finn wants Rose Taco, and Warrior wants the pilot. So make sure you donate for those causes. I think that's the moral of the story. All right, so the questions are starting to come in. Make sure you get your questions. And guys, remember, put the term question in front of your question. It just helps us scoop it up with the software that we're using today. let's see what's been going on this week. Not much again. Kind of a slow week. Oh, wait a minute. We got some new characters. We had two new characters introduced. We had Fallen Bastila as one of the characters. She's the big one that everyone's talking about, and we'll get into that here in a second. And then the other character that was kind of introduced was Candaris Ordo. He was already buggy, but I guess that's been addressed and fixed. I don't know. So let's talk about what we are deeming F and Bastila or F and BS. What is everyone's? I mean, what is everyone's initial thoughts of Bastila? I mean, we've already given our opinion on this channel, me and Finn, but we'll just start. Good old Maurice. What do you think?
I think she's a nice addition to the Sith faction. Obviously there's, people are using her to beat Revan. So, I mean, I guess she adds some value there. But, I mean, as a Gear 12 type character, I'm not sure that she's going to be one that I'm instantly investing in. If I do invest in her, it's going to be to, Gear 8, Gear 9, enough for me to take a shot at some Revans and TW with Maitreya, So I think she adds a lot. I really like that corrupted battle meditation mechanic. The debuff the character before you start your turn, then you get an additional turn. That's pretty intense. It's fair. It is a potency roll. She's got some like a DACA-like stun. That's cool. Unfortunately, against the Jedi and a lot of teams that are so much tenacity up, landing that stun is going to be difficult. But that stun goes away, turns into all these other debuffs. So that's pretty cool. It's a very interesting character, kind of a unique character. So I think she's pretty good.
Now, there's a lot of debate. Is she a true counter to this version of Revan? Warrior, what are you thinking after doing some testing with her and stuff of her use and the effect of Revan in the arena right now?
So I woke up yesterday, or whenever the event was 2 days ago, and had everybody in my Patreons freaking out and kind of upset because their investments in Revan were wasted, or at least that's what they were telling me. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Well, this new Bastila, like Gear 8, Gear 9, can wipe out Revan teams, and there's all these videos." And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, send me some videos. I got to see this. And so they sent me a bunch of videos, tons of links. They overwhelmed me with links, and I was looking at them. I'm like, what? I noticed that like instantly Treya teams that were struggling aren't struggling anymore. And I noticed there was a couple videos without Treya, and I was like, what in the heck? And so I was like, man, that's crazy. So I just hopped onto my leaderboard, and I was in like the number 4 slot. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of choices. And all the teams were Treya teams with the new Gear 8 3-star Bastila in the lead now, or in the team. And I was like, what the hell? But I saw a Revan team in the number 1 slot, and I was like, well, I guess I'll fight him and see what happens. So I went and tried both comps. I tried the Emperor Palpatine lead without Treya, and the Treya lead with Bastila, and I won both times in a row. So I was like, that's nuts. So it does work. And I wasn't even like trying. I just, played through it real quick to see if it was possible. And my teams didn't have very good mods because I have all my good mods on my Jedi. So anyway, long story short, I basically redid those 2 battles with the 2 comps and recorded it, threw it on a video and sent it up. And then, of course, it was a little premature because everybody started watching it and scrutinizing it and saying, you were going first and you shouldn't have been, and they're actually right. The particular Revan team I was going against was modded for heavy offense, real heavy offense, like 6,500 offense on Yoda and 6,500 offense on Revan. It's a strategy, but it's not I don't think it's the best strategy in an arena. So I was able to fracture first, and at the time when I was testing, I had a 300 speed. And so that meant they were under 260. And when I went back and looked, it was like 252 and 254. So yeah, their speeds were not where they probably should have been. But long story short, I put out the video. I caught a lot of heat. My God, if you guys want to watch Warrior get roasted, go to my last video. Go to the comment section. Make sure you pop some popcorn, and then go. Oh, read it. But long story short, I spent all the rest of yesterday testing against tougher Revan teams. I was like, oh God, I got to get a Revan team that's like way faster than me. So I did. I got a team that was way faster than me. Tomahawk on my leaderboard. Harunalum has the best mods on our leaderboard. And what I found was even with a faster Revan, even if the Revan's faster, I still won with my Treya. As long as Treya was in there, Basilishan actually made it possible for me to win pretty consistently, pretty much every single time, even against some superior teams. However, let me disclaimer this. My Treya is modded for Territorial Wars and is tankied out, like crit avoidance arrow, defense mods, defense, secondaries. I've got tons of protection. Basically, I've got like 3 protection primaries. And I mean, she is like a slow moving tank. She's like 110,000 health and protection. And if you see in the video, I mean, he does a direct focus with everyone. It doesn't even scratch her. She doesn't even have noticeable protection loss. So that's one of the reasons why, is because I have my crap modded correctly. So you got to make sure you mod correctly. The second is, once I went to Emperor Palpatine lead against faster Revans, I started losing like every time. And I was like, what the hell? I just won with Emperor Palpatine lead. Why is this? So I started having people pull their Jolie just to see if the Jolie was the difference maker, and sure as day it was. Without Jolie, I'd still lose a character, but I'd win 4 or 3 surviving pretty much every time with Emperor Palpatine lead, even with a faster Revan facing a faster Revan. But when they added Jolie and they had a faster Revan and I did not have Treya, I found I was losing 100% of the time. So the video I put out was a little premature, but it is still valid, provided you're playing a team that if you don't have Treya and they have a faster Revan, the caveat is you're going to have them not have a Jolie. And unfortunately, in the top 20, most of them have learned to go Jolie Zeta. So sadly, the video is probably only going to work for people in like the top 200 when they're facing some of those Revan teams that maybe aren't modded as well and maybe don't have as wide of a roster. There's a lot of people who basically wailed for the first time ever on Revan because they realized it was going to be like Treya. And they were like, well, Treya was in the spot for 8 months and Revan's probably going to be in the spot for 8 months. So it was like, this is the first time I'll get to master it. And I've had people climb in the top 10 that we've never seen. So it's true. But those are the individuals. Those teams are the ones you're going to be able to beat yourself, even without Treya with Emperor Palpatine lead. So it is possible, but it's improbable if they have basically an A-list Revan team with the Jolie Zeta and stuff. It's going to be really, really tough. So my apologies to the entire community for hastily putting out a video against a subpar team. But at the same time, it at least got me to spend an entire day truly digging into it for the community and figuring out what you have to have or not have, all the caveats to it and modding and stuff. So it was good.
Yeah, and we were, as I was telling where I was messing around with Mist on his account, and we maxed out Basila, and I mean, what it does, as long as your tree is tanky, like Warrior said, that's the key to success because of what Basila does for the leader. Especially if they're Sith in that role, it makes Treya exceptionally more tanky. If you already got a tanky Treya and then you add what Basila gives her, it makes it amazing. Now, one thing that I have been getting some feedback on is that it's not going to hold on defense. You are going to drop. So it's a very offensive team that can beat it, but it can't hold on defense. So you're going to drop probably more than usual because it can be beaten. Because how the AI works is going to be different than how a player works. And a player with Revan is going to skunk it. All right, so let's start getting to these questions. That was a little bit of insight of what some of the news going on this week. All right, well, your first question to you, Sith Gorilla. Question: I'm becoming mod poor. Farming them isn't netting me anything. Mod store never has much. When I do get something, the speed doesn't proc. Is there any advice you can give me?
Sadly, we are in a new era of modding, and that is back in the day when it first came out. Some people got some insane mods. Then they realized they had to dial it back. So then there was the rest of us where we got a couple of good ones and a couple of average and then a bunch of like 10 plus speed, and that was it. Now we live in the era of if you farm for the mod, more than likely you're not going to get anything of significant substance without slicing first to figure out whether it has anything of substance. And back when I first started, if it had a 5 or a 6 speed secondary, it always rolled a 5 or a 6 speed secondary. It never rolled a 3 after it had been an initial 5. That variance has now been changed because I get a 6 showing a 6 or showing a 5, and then I roll it and I get a +3, and that didn't happen in the past. So
It's more than
I have
me.
a lot of. I mean, you can go look at all my mods, and they're all literally multiplications of 5, like 15 speed or whatever. But anyway, it just is what it is. And so the mods that you're getting now, there is a less likelihood of anyone playing in today's day and age with today's modding that's going to get God mods. With that said, you will still hit the RNG jackpot from time to time. Yesterday in the assault battle, we get a bunch of those blue mods, and I got a blue mod that had tenacity. It was a health mod with tenacity primary, but it was showing 5 speed, and it rolled a 6 and a 6, and so I ended up getting a 17 speed. And that's the first mod in at least a month, if not more. That's actually what I would consider a good mod, and it's blue, so I can still slice it 2 more times, and that 17 could potentially become an almost 30 mod with another 13 speed added to it by it rolling 2 more times plus the 60 single add. So there are still some good mods out there, but really where the money's at, or where it's at, is taking existing mods and slicing, because it's a 25% chance that speed is going to increase. So any of those mods you've got to get it up to show all of the secondary stats. And then once you see the secondary stats, if there's speed on it, then you have to roll that one, slice it up, and really hope. I noticed this with everything with RNG. If you shoot one time, there's a really good chance it's going to miss and it's going to not feel good for you. But if you get to roll 6 or 7 at one time, you tend to get 1 or 2, and it tends to feel better because you had some success. So I suggest, for your own mental health, that you get a lot of the material farm for a bunch of stuff to get your greens up, for example. Just get a bunch of that material. Farm till you have like 250 of that material of each kind. Then go into your greens that show speed and roll all of your very best speed secondary green, and through that, you'll get a couple statistically that will roll up, and it will feel good because you've rolled some. But if you roll one at a time, just randomly one, it's going to feel bad to your mind, because you're going to start to build this perception that speed never rolls, which isn't necessarily true. It's just a RNG thing. So that's my best suggestion, is just get a lot of material and slice the original mods you have, but do it in bulk, so that way you can allow RNG to strike gold occasionally when you're doing it.
All right. Next question. Good old Maurice. This is from our AC3 or ACH3RON131. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Question: do you think Rand Arena will have a location/theme like Jakku for Territory War with bonuses for different factions? What do you think there, GOM?
I don't know if there's going to be a specific location, perhaps, but I do think there's going to be some sort of bonus, some sort of handicap, something to make it a little interesting. I don't think it's just going to be your characters versus their characters. Like TW, we had the faction bonuses, and then we now have this Grievous Mace thing, so I could see them maybe adding some sort of bonus for either characters, factions, maybe preventing you from using certain things. I don't know. I there's so many unknowns about this game mode. Even like what the prizes are, how many teams are we have to place on defense, and so I definitely think there will be some sort of bonus or limiting factor for sure, to kind of spice it up a little bit, and probably encourage you to maybe level up a less desirable faction. Like a lot of people worked on the Scoundrels and the Bounty Hunters and the First Order and the Resistance for TW because they had bonuses, right? So I'd imagine there'd be something like that as well.
All right. Next question to Mike from Matthew Vitalone. Question: what's the most effective way to farm mods?
to be honest. Since mods 2.0, I'm trying to think if I've farmed at all. I take them from all the rewards from all the events, and I build up my credits, both ship and normal credits, and go in the store, and I just cherry pick the particular mods. Feedback I've heard since the change, change with mods, is that farming sucks. Basically, put it in simple language. You get a multitude of greys, lots and lots of greens, and not much seems to fall. Yeah, I mean, the emphasis there, I would say, take from the rewards all your blues, take them up to level 6. It doesn't cost you too much in credits. You'll see all 4 secondary stats, and then you can opt, is this a mod that I want to carry on with or not? And yeah, just really cherry pick. From the store, you're kind of looking at triangles and crosses. They're kind of like your two mains, and then the caveat there is pick up any speed arrows. We're talking 5 dots. I'm only talking 5 dot mods here because they're the only ones that you can slice. Pick up the speeds, doesn't matter. Grey to gold, pick them up. Just to have them in the bank because it's plus 30, 32 if you 6E them now. But that would be my recommendation. And if you're after, normally when we're looking at these, we're after specific. So you might need a fast square. Look in the store, wait till it comes, and then you're at the mercy of RNG again on whether the speed turns for you. But that would be my advice, and save your energy for the slicing mats so you can slice them once you get them.
All right. Next question, back to the top to Warrior. This is from from Planet. I was going to say not, but it's N-O-O-T. Not, so I guess it's a big not. Question here, Warrior. We have 8 Dark Side KOTOR tunes minus Treya. Do you think the next release could drop early with a tag change on either Marauder, Assassin, Trooper, HK's Scion, Nihilus with the 2 new marquee?
Possibly. So this is the deal with tags. They've told me this multiple times, and it completely aligns 100% with what they've done. They don't give faction tags necessarily solely based on what an individual is. So, if they're a rebel, they get a rebel tag, but that doesn't always mean that, certain characters are going to get certain tags just because you feel like they belong in that, thing. And what they are and what genre they come from are different. And so what they've said in the past is basically it doesn't always make sense. For example, HK being Old Republic makes sense, but they don't care. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense. What has to make sense is they use, because the game is programmed, they have to use a tag. You can bring in X or Y tags into this event. So if they tag certain characters arbitrarily because it feels good, because that's what we're supposed to have, then we're allowed in characters they don't want in that event. So because of that, they build out tags for events. That's why new tags are created specifically for specific events. That's why, people are added out of nowhere to a tag they weren't previously in, so they can be included into a particular event, things like that. So can some of those dark side be included into Old Republic? There is a possibility that that's the case, but my guess is, just as the past has dictated, any new event will require new characters. It very rarely ever happens where they allow you to use existing characters. Chewie is the prime example of one rare occasion where they allowed you to, and then because you got to use your bounty hunters that you had existing. But you see what they did to that event. You had to have like Gear 12 bounty hunters and stuff, really to kind of zip through it. It was really pretty hard to beat. So the majority of the time when there's a new character, there's going to be new characters that you have to farm first. So Ordo and the Bastila Fallen and potentially Lightside Revan. These are like the characters that'll probably be used with maybe Darth Malik and things as such to get, Darth Revan kind of thing. I mean, I think it's going to be these characters coming out now that are marquee that are going to be used for an event in the future. But can they add a tag to anybody? Yes. If it makes event sense, they will do it. If it doesn't make event sense, they will not do it.
All right, next question to good old Maurice. From Matthew Vitalone. Question: why has this Clone Wars anniversary been such a letdown?
Well, it's better they got something than nothing, I guess. I mean, we made, somebody asked earlier, will there be bonuses in Grand Arena? And perhaps these separatists, these clones, these maybe some of the left out Galactic Republic guys, some of those guys might get your Grand Arena bonuses, right? I mean, we've seen in the past where they've completely redone the artwork for the Jawas, for the Geos, and they came with absolutely nothing, right? Nothing came with those artwork changes. So just because a character gets, spruced up in the art department doesn't mean that they're going to do something with that character. It was kind of a letdown because I've got the clones and I was like, oh, I might accidentally have a good team here. And then, we got some bonus drops and it's, I don't know, not much. But again, it's better, I guess, better than nothing. The helmets are cool, I guess, right? I mean, I guess they look cool. They don't bring you any superpowers inside the game, unfortunately, because the clones are still mediocre at best. We'll see. I'm kind of crossed my fingers. They're the Grand Arena bonuses. That's my hope, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Next question from Mike. This is from Stonewall Exile. I was wondering if anyone thinks refreshing the Ground War nodes is a good deal because of all the blue mods. What do you think, Mike?
If you're short on mods, yes, yeah. It's relatively cheap, I believe, isn't it? I don't know. I'm just gonna go and have a butcher's. How much is?
I think it's $225, isn't it?
$225 for that many mods is a bargain.
But they're always health mod. I guess, yeah, I could
well,
see it.
They're health mods, yes, but $225 and possible rewards are, what was it? 2, 4, 6. 6 mods for 225 crystals. Yeah, with the added bonus that you could get a Geo or even Grievous. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm finding Grievous shards are dropping everywhere at the moment. It's almost as if the game people want us to have Grievous. Ooh, I wonder why. But coming back to the question, yeah, if your mod inventory isn't the greatest, if you're not hitting the cap and all of that, and you do it. I mean, it kind of follows on from what Warrior was saying earlier. Was it a 17-speed secondary from one of them? I mean, who here wouldn't pay 225 crystals for a 17-speed secondary? Do it. Do it now.
All right. Next question, back up to you, Warrior, from Zentex. Question: is a 3-star Gear 11 Bastila and a 5-star Gear 11 Trail working against a Revan team?
Only if you have basically, 3 things of protection and crit avoidance on there between her leadership and the crit avoidance arrow. They won't be critting. And then with the tankiness, she'll probably survive that initial onslaught, even if you're slower. But, your likelihood of success dwindles when mods start to become an issue. And the stars really make up the difference for mods quite a bit. I mean, everything is kind of a totality of circumstances, right? So if you've got a 7-star, you can have a little bit less good mods. I mean, you still need to have decent mods, but your mods don't have to be superior. When you start losing the star level or gear level, your mods have to compensate and be better and better. So if your mods are only middle of the road or less, and you're 5-star, there's a good chance you probably won't win.
All right. Good old Maurice. Next question from Hellenix. Question: why are people who, in quotation, spent money on Jedi Knight Revan Getting mad at folks who, in quotation, spent time grinding Treya. Seems kind of silly, isn't it?
Well, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. You know, a lot of newer players, if this is the first character they invested in, then yes, they're going to be a little upset. But for veteran, older players, I mean, they've done this in the past. Like, think all the way back to when Baze was in Chromiums, right? Baze was in Chromiums, and he was arguably the most expensive character to pull out of Chromiums this game has ever seen. And they're like, oh, we're sorry, guys. And then they put him right in the guild store where you could buy him with shard shop currency, right? So they've done this in the past, and that's with this Basla, that's a little unfortunate if you can do it with a 3-star gear 8, but traditionally you're going to have to either invest in another character to counter the previous character or something. Like, I don't know. Revan is still the ultimate team. It's still the very best team in the game, and if the in-game reward, which is Treya, goes A and B with Revan, I don't see any issue with that. But again, everyone is entitled to their opinions. I understand why people are upset, but no.
Can I ask
really answered that?
Let me ask a follow-up to you, though. And this may go to Mike, Warrior, and Good Old Maurice, because I'm just kind of interested in your perspective. But just thinking back in this game for, like, the past 3 years, right? I can't think of a character that was, I want to say, as pay-to-play specific as the Revan character was, just based on the release and the timing, that had as big an impact to give those players that pay money in order to get it the advantage that they got this time. Like, Treya was a raid character, and so if you were in a guild that was able to do any specific characters, there was a bit of a learning curve for those that didn't spend, and so you had a little bit of a transition time there. But I can't think of another character where you literally basically paid for a character and basically had an advantage. And to think that it may be coming cut short because of a 3-star marquee character, I think is what a lot of the kind of the upset feelings are right now with regards to what's going on. It's not necessarily Treya, but it's that a 3-star marquee is kind of dealing with it. So can you think of another character that's had that impact, at least that you were able to play for and really had that kind of impact? And then just your thoughts on kind of the impact of just a marquee being able to topple it.
Yep. Not where a marquee toppled it, not at all. But I hear what they're saying. The biggest character, I mean, listen, I started this game, I started playing for a couple of months, and I was like, it's okay, whatever, I'm not sure I'm going to, get into it or whatever. But I started getting kind of competitive like everyone does and climbing, and I started finding myself in the top 100 and then the top 50. And all of a sudden, a new character came out, and I'd never spent money in this game for those first few months. But the character came out, and it was Sunfac. And everyone, I had just joined Team Instinct, and everyone in Team Instinct bought it, and they were like, this tank makes it to where nobody can beat us. Like, it's physically impossible. They can't beat us. If they don't have Sunfac, they can't win. And I was like, oh, it was so tempting. And so that was the first character I ever wailed on. I went to the Erodium pack and spent a couple $100 on Erodium packs, which was a thing back then, and I bought Sunfac. I sat in the number 1 slot, never got bumped for at least 6 months. My entire shard created a shard chat to try to theory craft on how to beat my team to bump me. I found them talking crap on the forums, and that's how I ended up joining the shard chat, because I was like, it's easier than that, guys. If you had let me join, I can just change out my team for you or something like that. You guys don't have to gang up on me. It's like, I don't care. I don't need to sit in the number 1 spot for 24 hours. I just need it for the 1 hour of my payout kind of thing. And so that's kind of where it came. But I didn't even build my shard chat. It was formed because of Sunfac. He literally created a shard chat because of his creation. So that was the most impactful character in history for me in the game, because I literally, if you had Sunfac, you sat in the number 1 spot. If you did not have Sunfac, you could not. And most of the people in my leaderboard at the time did not wail on him. Only a couple people tried, and they ended up, buying him to like 3 or 4 stars, realizing how expensive he was, and then quit. So he was the most impactful, but see, he did not get cut at the knees by a 3-star. I mean, Marquis didn't even exist back then. So he had his day. But we live in an era now in the game where you got to remember, paper, rock, scissors. That was their goal. That is their goal. That is the end result. And that is where we're living right now. And it's getting more and more balanced whether people like that or not. It's getting more and more balanced every single day. And, Night Sisters can whoop up on X, Y, or Z team, but lose horribly to A, B, or C team. Jedi Knight Revens can get beat by, A or B team, but can lose to, you know what I mean? So it's like everything has its nemesis and everything has, something that a team that it's victorious against. But I can hear, and trust me, I'm one that spent $300 on Revan, and 6 weeks later, I literally shared on Twitter yesterday a screenshot of people with 5-star Treyas and 3-star Gear 9, Gear 8 Bastilas, all in my top 5. And these people have climbed up there because they're able to carve right through my team. And I have a very well modded Revan team, and they're doing it with these 5-star Treya teams with 3-star Bastilas. So it's kind of frustrating, for me a little bit, but at the same time, it just kind of is what it is. And when I go and fight them, of course, it's a walkover. It's 60 seconds or less, easy kill. So it's just that paper, rock, scissors.
Well, I mean, you answered that question pretty perfectly there. For those of you to touch on Sunfac, he was phenomenal. But in most cases, I don't know. It's something to consider. If you're thinking about investing in a character, realize that you're investing in a character to enhance, an A, B, or C team that's not going to beat everything. Like you make your paper, for instance, like Rock Paper says, you make your paper team better. You're not going to make them invulnerable. So, yeah. Yeah, you pretty much crushed that question. Yeah.
All right. Next question to Mike. And this is kind of for all of us. So you can jump in on this one. But Lunga Famping. Lungu Fambine. I'm just going to call you Question. Around the corner. But what is the mods farming strategy for the Jedi Academy host? I mean, Mike, you don't really. You said you're not really farming mods right now, right?
Yeah, I pick up. So when I see in the store, when I see a crit damage triangle showing speed, if I see a potency or an offense cross or something that I'm looking for, or maybe sometimes, I mean, anything shiny, i.e., it's showing 5 secondary speed and it's purple or gold, I'll have a crack at it. Other than that, I'm just developing what I'm getting from the drops from all the rewards. Mod farming itself has ceased for me. It all goes into mod slicing mats, all that energy.
Well, I mean, I know for me, I mean, I've got so many mods, I don't know what to do with them. I'm always looking for a speed mod. For me, right now, is with the mods I'm collecting. I'll buy one out of the store if it's got a certain speed, if it's purple, and blue, maybe like Mike said. With the I'm always looking for triangles and crosses. Those are the big ones, right? Um,
Yep.
but I'm also looking at what is the actual mod itself. I mean, if it's a defensive mod, I'm like 3 speed gold. No, I'm not buying that. So you have to be very, very calculated about how you farm mods. Now, I don't farm mods anymore. My whole focus in life right now is slicing all the mods I have, and I'm basically selling everything blue that I'm not using that are very common mods. I've gotten rid of all my grays and anything below five dot. And you will eventually get there in the game yourself. You have to get to that point where I've got a ton of mods, and I'm basically every time I get a mod that has speed, either from an event, whatever it may be, if it doesn't have speed and it's just generic, I sell it immediately. If it has speed, I'm going to roll it, even if it's a blue, just to see where it's at, because there are 160 plus characters in the game, and I just want to make sure that I have all my bases covered. But really, if I did need a specific set, like if I see a speed critical damage triangle with 6 speed secondary, I'm gonna buy that because um, it's a great piece to add to any set, and it's gold. And if I get lucky, like I did on it yesterday, I get critical damage and it rolled to 12. So for a speed set, that's fine. I can use that somewhere. So you have to be strategic about how you use your mods. For farming mods itself, back in the day, it's different now. We had to have first the characters to unlock the mod challenge, and then that's no longer the case. So if you are lacking mods, we always say go crit chance speed sets. Because you use those the most. Potency comes into play, so you probably want to farm those. But you can dictate your farm from those, and RNG is RNG. You just have to keep at it. Even with us back in the day, we got so much crap mods that anything below 4, we just sold it.
I did I culled my mods a little while ago, and I had some very, very nice kind of like plus 15 and above 4 dots, and
worthless now.
I got rid of you ruthless. I got rid of them all.
Yeah,
everything except 5 dots has gone.
Yeah.
So I might have 1 or 2 lurking where I've cleared them and haven't sold them immediately, but other than that, completely ruthless. And something that I did quite a while ago was I would bin any mod that didn't show speed as a secondary stat. So no speed, no go. I've revised that to a degree. Now it really has to be something special. I know there are certain tunes where you can now benefit from having almost or completely 0 speed on them, but you're looking for specific stats on those. You're either looking for crit chance on them, or a ton of offense or potency. You're looking for a specific, and then you just work on those mods that that turn. It does require a bit of some credits to do all of this, but with the quality of life changes and the fact that the mods, it's 250k or just under to max out a gold mod, or any mod now, isn't it, to take it to level 15.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Which doesn't break the bank, and it gives you overview of all the stats, and your purples and golds are lovely because you can do those at 3 levels per increase. You're not spending much at all. Then you're looking at 1,000 or something per go, is it, or something? It doesn't add up to very much, and and go that route. You're gonna have to level up a lot of mods. Yeah, there's no way around that.
It's a long-term farm. You guys got to stick with it, and then you get rid of the crap that you don't need, and then you start putting them on characters. And even you never know what a mod's going to roll, and there was so many characters, and we're using so many characters in different areas. You want to have as many mods with speed secondaries that you can get your hands on, even if it's 5 or 6. You're not going to have god mods in every character. I mean, you just gotta, you have to be smart about it. So, all right.
Sorry, can I just a little continuation of that? I'm not very good with loadouts. I'm only now starting to use them, but surely one of the things you can do is like a potential loadout. It's got kind of the groundings of where I want to go with this set, and then you save them, and then you can go in and work on those rather than get distracted.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, it's anything and everything that's at your disposal just to work on what you need to work on. Sorry.
No, great point. All right, back to the top to Scissor Man Warrior. Michael Longmeat has a question, and he says, I'm starting to farm Night Sisters, and I want to farm and gear only 5. I'm primarily farming them for the Heroic Sith Raid, but would also like to use them in Territory Wars. What would be the best 5 to farm, and why?
All right. Well, there's a staple 4 that you have to have, and everybody would agree with this, and that's going to be Asajj Ventress, Mother Talzin, Zombie, and Oldaka. Those 4 are the absolute necessary must-evils. You got to have those 4 for everything, whether you're doing Arena, whether you're doing Territory Wars, Territory Battles, whether you're doing Phase 3, Phase 4. It doesn't matter what you're doing is going to get those 4. You got to get them maxed out, and you'll probably, at the end of the day, eventually have the Zeta leads on both Asajj and Mother Talzin because their leads do different things for different purposes. And if you're going offensive, you might want Mother Talzin lead, but if you're a defensive team on Territory Wars, you'll want Asajj Ventress lead. But then you might want to use one on phase 3 with one lead and the other one on phase 4 with a different lead. So, like I said, those 4 are the staples. The 5th is anything you want, and I've seen anything. However, there's arguments to be made for all. The one that most people lean in on during raids is Talia. And that's because of her heal capability, and you can crank her damage up pretty decent and stuff. And so Talia is not bad at all. The one that I personally prefer as my +1 is Spirit, because Spirit's now the green one, because she's now farmable and you can get her. She is amazing. She hits harder than any of them, basically, except for Asajj. So she's a massive damage dealer. You can make her pretty dang fast pretty easily, and she can dispel. That's huge, having another dispel on the team. And she can stun, which is pretty amazing. So she puts foresight up, and she's hard to be killed. So for any kind of PvE or PvP, but in PvP, in Territory Wars on an offensive team, she's kind of a deal breaker, whether you have her or not. If you do, there's a lot of teams you can beat with Night Sisters where you literally just can't beat them without her. So it would be my lean in on to be Spirit. But Talia, there's an argument to be made for PvE content that Talia would be a better fit. But if I had that choice on the 5th slot, I would do Spirit as the 5th.
All right, there you go. Let's see. Next question for me from Hellenix. All right. Question for Ranger. All my first order tunes are at gear 11 except OG Kylo Ren. We know one more mark for Comlink. Are the first order tunes I have good for Territory War defense under 75 million GP? Or is it better to use them on offense until OG Kylo Ren is gear 11 and Zetaed? Also, should I be trying to take Kylo Ren Unmasked and Fosta gear 12 now? If you've got the Zetas on Kylo Ren Unmasked and First Order Stormtrooper, then you're good to go. Now, the one for OG Kylo is really nice. It helps with your turn meter and stuff, but you got First Order Officer in that team as well. For me, your gear is fine on them. They are strictly, you can use these on defense right away where they're at. They are a defensive team. Certain teams that you want to place on defense is because they regenerate health and protection, and they take care of themselves. There are a lot of teams like that. That's why you see a lot of bounty hunters on defense. You see Kira-led teams on defense. You see First Order teams on defense because of that factor. And if you get them really high enough, you can get them to where they're a pain in the ass, because if you can get your speed high enough on your First Order Officer, you get the bonus speed from Kylo Ren Unmasked, because you get 30 speed, and it can be a really nightmare team, because if they get going, they can really cause you a lot of headaches, and that's why they're used on defense. I think you're fine with where they're at.
He said he has both the Crew Zetas and the Zeta on First Order Stormtrooper.
Use them on defense. You're fine. At 175 million GP, you're fine. I mean, that team is strictly for defense. I mean, you can use it on offense, but most people use it on defense. It's because of itself. It takes care of itself, and so you're fine where you're at. So, as far as I'm concerned, you're fine. Now, if you want to start taking them to gear 12, yeah, finish your Kylo Ren if you can. If it's, get him to gear 11. Maybe you want to add a Zeta to him. I don't know what your Zeta situation is with other tunes. It's not needed. It's nice. You've got the 3 that really matter. And don't forget about Executioner. He is the key. Getting Executioner to as high as gear as possible is important as well. because you really want him hitting as hard as he can, because he is the one that really does the damage on that team. And you're protecting him behind a double tank wall, and you want him going as fast as possible and as many times as possible, because once he starts Kassan chopping, he can really lay the scunion on people, and that's really what you want. The other guys doing their thing, calling assists, bringing their health protection back, and basically your first order executioner having fun with the other team. So I hope that answers your question, Helix. All right, let's see. Next question for good old Maurice from Jeremy Laer. Question: we're talking about mods. I'd like to know, what is a better percentage or percent or flat stats? No, what is better, percentage or percent or flat stats?
Well, mods 2.0. I'm gonna try to answer this without knowing the numbers off the top of my head. There are certain stats that increase significantly when you take them to 6E. Like traditionally, the flat defense, flat defense. The percentages are not desirable. Protection and protection percentage are the stats that really don't get any sort of benefit. A flat offense. These stats don't get much of a jump in speed, obviously, to 6E, but there are other stats like health percentage, even offense percentage. These stats, in the past have been, kind of middle of the pack, not very desirable. But when you take them to 6E, they get a significant jump. So I think if you have 5 dot mods that are not 6E, flat is definitely the way to go. Even when you take them to 6E, flat is still going to be desirable. Now, moving forward, we start getting gear 13, gear 14, gear 15. I mean, this is long down the road. No one freak out, but I think these percentages may start catching up to the flats. And in the case of like special offense oriented characters like Talzin, like Palpatine, like Revan, like Grandmaster Yoda, once you take the offense percentage to 6E, those are
Hold on, everybody. Skype just crashed on me. Oh, Skype, you suck so bad.
Was overtly insane. It was just all kind of, except for speed. That was the only thing that was really insane. Other than speed, everything was really kind of undervalued. And so if you did a percentage of crap, it's still crap. But if you do a flat on top of crap, it becomes better than crap. So people went flat with defense and flat with offense. And that was kind of the go-to. Everybody knew that, or a lot of people knew that. You just went flat offense. If you could get over 100 plus offense, you were great, But now, when you can get 55 or 60,000 health on a character because of Gear 12 Plus and 6E mods, all of a sudden a percentage of health secondary is almost guaranteed to be better than a flat health secondary based on that insane health pool that you were able to acquire that wasn't possible previously. So you now actually have to do math to figure out when you've got a 600 health plus 600 health, that's 1% of 60,000. So is 600 to 60,000 1%, and you have a mod that says 1.5%. But the cool thing is the game allows you to swap a mod without actually paying, and let the system do the math for you. Put in that mod that's 1.5% versus the 600 flat, and see if your health goes up. If you don't want to do the math, and the math will be done by the computer, and it will say, do you want to revert or do you want to continue, kind of thing. And you can revert it, and it doesn't cost you anything, and you can actually see. So they do have kind of a built-in, way of kind of testing the water, so to speak. But yes, now defense, now health, now other things like that, you have to actually pay attention to the percentages in the secondary stats versus the flats, because the flat was always better, but now it very well could swing to a percentage being better based on the character in which you're modding.
All right. Sorry about that. We had a quick little drop. Skype crashed for some reason, so we lost like 5-10 seconds of that. But I hope that answers your question. Let's see here. Next question is to Mike. This is from Ziglet. Question: how do you know when it's time to sell on mods? I keep bringing it up to the mod cap, and I don't know which ones to sell. Mike?
Isaiah, he doesn't know which mods to sell. What?
He's asking. He's like, he wants to know when is it time to sell a mod. He keeps running to the mod cap, and he doesn't know which ones he needs to sell.
My own kind of selection process, I kind of covered earlier, is I normally keep anything that's got a speed secondary. So even if it's level 1 or whatever, if it's showing speed, that's a keeper. I tend to get rid of like the percentage ones. So if you got like a percentage health, percentage tenacity or something, normally then okay, all the figures do enhance your tunes. I acknowledge that, but some are far more desirable than others. You're kind of going for your main stats. So potency you can only do as percentage. Potency is a good one for an offensive tune, and let's face it, you're battling, so therefore the harder you hit and the more chances you have of landing stuff, that's going to increase those chances. Same goes for crit chance. Offense, I'm more of a fan of whole number offense over percentage offense. So anything that's showing nice numbers there at the start, tend to keep. Coming back to it, yeah, it's kind of like it's the mer stats, the ones that you gloss over, the ones that you don't look at. When you go through your secondaries, you're looking for certain ones, and the rest of them you forget instantly. And if that's the case, they're the ones. Get rid of the ones that you tend to overlook. Try and make a point of reading what all the secondaries are, which ones you keep in, which ones are just kind of like filling up your repository and getting you to the mod cap quick, and go through those and use filters. Yeah, so set it to greys, then to greens, then to blues, and work your way up. And have a look through your golds and purples that don't show any actual stats that you want to develop, which is probably why they're still in your inventory in the first place. That would be kind of the way I would approach it anyway.
All right. Next question back to the top for Scissorman Warrior. From Atomic Robot, question: a slow plus 80 speed Grandmaster Yoda under Revan for Heroic Sith Raid Phase 2 with 6,700 offense nets me 14 million damage. Can I run this loadout in Arena, or is it too slow?
As long as your Revan is fast, you can absolutely run it that slow. He gets, like 40% turn meter on his basic. He gets the extra speed from the leadership. I was of this mind that wouldn't work. Jedi Master Ad Astra said, "No, you're wrong. You trust me on this. Just trust me." And I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to trust." And I did. I trusted her, and I went ahead and remodded with us like you have for Sith Raid. Super much slower, like a plus 80 speed. It's like horrible speed. But I've got like 6,300. So your offense secondaries are awesome. But what happens is, you score more in the raids, and then in Arena, you're more likely, you have a higher propensity to one shot fools with your once he gets spun up, with the Bastila defense penetration, and he's got all that offense up and crit chance up and stuff. He's hitting for 97,000 or 110,000. He turns into a Darth Nihilus, and so it doesn't really matter that he's slightly slower, because against most teams he's still faster than most characters on most teams.
All right. Next question from Faye Muck. This is for good old Marines. Question: I've been remodding my attacker characters when I obtain new mods. Am I better off to mod them with offense or speed secondaries?
Could you ask that one more time? I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Cut out.
The question is, good old Marines, quit talking to Team Money and pay attention to the question. That was the first part. No, I made that up. Question: I've been remodding my attacker characters when I attain new mods? Am I better off to mod them with offense or speed secondaries?
Like what? Ooh, if you're talking about attackers in general, I mean, that's totally a uh, per character basis. Like I guess if you have characters that attack a lot out of turn, like Han Solo, for instance, gets double taps. Chewbacca, just going all over the place. You've got ways like Wedge, for instance. You can always have him assist from Biggs. Snowtrooper, characters that can get a lot of turn meter without the high base speed. These characters you can really go heavy on the offense with. Yoda, for instance, in the current meta, is a perfect example. He gets so much turn meter from all the assists and him doing his AOE move. He generates enough turn meter on his own where offense is way more beneficial on him than speed. But then you sometimes you have characters like attackers that you need them to go super super fast. Like CLS, for instance, is one that the faster he is, the more turns he gets. It's almost just as much about his debuffs and his dispel and all the things he brings to the table than it is the actual damage he produces. I guess, I mean, I don't know if you have if you have my ID on Discord, you could message me about what specific characters you're talking about, and I can maybe give you a little better answer in terms of that.
All right. Next question for Mike from DN Suro. Question: what's the best bounty hunter team and the minimum gear to get OG Chewie?
Okay, the best bounty hunter team to get OG Chewie. Unfortunately, Dengar really is a necessity for that squad, as I would also say Bosk as well, which means you're going to have to grab Dengar shards wherever they pop up. I'm currently working on my ult. I've got him. He will be 6-star at least next time round, and I'm grabbing those as and when. And it's farming the Bosk shards to get. But I mean, Bosk gives them the resilience to actually make it through it. You need Bosk there, as I say, for the health protection regens. Dengar to prevent R2 from stealthing everyone and just putting you in one of the most frustrating loops that there is in the game of just getting annihilated time and time and time and time again. I think other people here can vouch for how frustrating that is without that ability there. And then your other three, Boba, I'm assuming most of us have got 7-star Bobas. Boba's a crew member as well. He's got a great ship. He's got a great set of abilities on him. So you want Boba. And then it's down to gearing and who else you have. We're given effectively, through the Galactic War, you get Greedo shards, isn't it? So you can get a 7-star Greedo quite easily. The pain comes there from gearing him. Bounty hunters as a faction are awful when it comes to gear. Lots and lots of cuffs, and then they need some more cuffs. So it's.
Don't forget the Carbantes.
There are a few Carbantes as well, but it's 2-phase objective. You need the star level, obviously, to be in place to get Chewie, and then you need the gear to just have them high enough gear level. What were we talking about? Is it 9 or 10? I mean, everyone was on about it, that because Bounty Hunters is a faction that's been in game from day one, that particular challenge was a lot harder than any we have faced before. The group consensus? Yeah.
Oh yes.
Ranger. Yeah. It requires a much higher gear level. Oh, King Felix.
Huh?
I thought King Felix was saying something.
Mike, stay on target.
Yeah. So it's a planning. It really is a planning objective. If you want him, and he's definitely worth getting. He's a great character, maybe overshadowed by a lot of the new shinies and paywall tunes that are revived, but shards, gear.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the gear. Just go into GG, look at the gear that they all require, and then kind of base it all on there.
All right.
And Zam's a great one just for the thermals, as is Greedo, and Zam can be a bit more resilient because if you gear up her abilities, she then stealths after detonating and stuff, which will keep her in game for longer for you.
All right. Let's go to the next question. Let's see. This is from Acheron. For you, Warrior, our boy Scissorman Warrior. Question is, without Revan, what is the easiest team for Hat solo? I'm having trouble getting through phase 1 and phase 2 with Admiral Akbar, CLS, BB-8, Wampa, and Hermit Yoda.
That is a great question. The issue is you have to have Hermit Yoda and BB-8 well over 280 speed. They have to be well over 280 speed. 2, you have to have offense, insane amounts of offense on CLS with speed and on Wampa, massive offense on Wampa. And then Akbar is kind of an MVP, surprisingly. You want him to have critical chance and critical damage. He's kind of high up on the physical damage charts, which is nuts. And so with him in CLS, he's going to actually shoot quite a bit. So you got to have all this insane offense. You got to have this insane speed. And then even then, you have to play it just right. In phase 1, it's all about timing, and people have a really hard time with the every 7th turn situation. And in phase 2, you really have to keep the tank up for as long as humanly possible, but know for a fact when you can topple it, because if you fail to topple it, then you're screwed. So you've got to keep it up for as long as possible before it takes a turn, and then topple it again. I'll be honest, I have my BB-8s and my Yoda over 280 speed. I've got massive offense on CLS and Wampa. That's how they're modded. I have Akbar pretty decent. He's probably my worst modded of the 5. And I've even tried the Wampanator. And I just cannot get through phase 1 and phase 2 completely to solo it either. To this day, I still can't solo Hat because of that. I normally see somebody goes in and does 10 or 12 million, and it's like somewhere in the middle of phase 2, and I just jump in at the middle of phase 2 and do 35 million, because I can easily solo from kind of 70% of phase 2 on. It's easy, but the entire phase 2, I'm still not getting enough offense apparently on my characters. But I can't sacrifice my offense mods from other teams that are more important for territory wars and stuff. And I know a lot of people do this whole mod loadout thing where they move their mods all the time. I refuse to do that. I do not have the manpower, time in my life to move stuff. It's like, once you're modded, that's how you're going to work everywhere in the game, period. And if you don't like it, too bad, kind of thing. And so I focus on territory wars, and I mod for territory wars, and then everything else falls where it may. And if I score less on a raid because of it, so be it. But that's the optimum thing, is to have tons of offense on CLS and Wampa. If you're going with
Warrior.
Did we lose Warrior?
Oop, did I lose you guys?
Yeah, you went mute there for a second, buddy.
All right, am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, I can't see anything on the screen. It's disappeared, so I got to reboot everything. So I'll be back in a second.
All right. While he's doing that, we'll go to the next question from Mr. Meatho. Question for you, good old Maurice. Who is the best leader as a bounty hunter for defense?
Bosk.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Bosk. If the bounty hunters faction, you've got Greedo, you've got IG-88, you've got Zam Wessel, you've got Embo, you've got Django, you've got Boba. All these characters are pretty squishy. Yes, Django and Boba get a revive, but I mean, if you can just one-shot them down, they come back up and you just one-shot them down again. They're really not that durable. So they benefit so much from all the protection, the defense, and even the tenacity. You could, depending on how you mod them, you can make them real irritating to debuff, which removes half of the characters in the game that are like debuff oriented. It's just a very good, durable lead. And TW, if we get these bonuses back, which we should, remember that bounty hunters do get stacking crit damage, and they also get they get a self cleanse because they don't have a cleanse in the faction, so they do get to cleanse themselves when they critically hit. So I would definitely go with Bosk.
It's hands down the best. All right, next question from Mike from Mr. Penny Pinch. Question: what scoundrel team can I use in Phase 2 of the Heroic Sith Raid with Kira and young Han?
Ooh. If Van Dorn Chewie is good, he's very good if he has his Zeta, because then that means he'll then revive. Oh, which way round do you do? So if we go Kira lead, young Han, see, I do like Zalbar mission. They throw a world of pain. Zalbar's got his thing. So Kira, Han, Zalbar mission, and then I think it would have to be L3 for the taunt and the healing. That probably would be. I don't know. I haven't. Since Revan came on the scenes and time changes, I haven't been able to really have a good crack at this, but I do want to try, because the other character that I love is young Lando. Because young Lando can pass prepared. So you slap that straight on to your young Han. If you've got the Zeta on him, that means that he's virtually assisting everyone that goes at any time. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is going to be it's going to depend where your tunes are, what gear levels and whatnots they are, what Zetas you have on there. Definitely Kira, definitely young Han, because you want to use him, and then it's going to be a combination. It's going to be trying the others out. As I say, the Mission Zalbar combo is awesome. And I believe it's that there are videos out there where they've posted huge amounts of damage. And then it's giving them upright as well.
All right. Let's see. Next question is Scissorman Warrior back?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute.
That's all right. Ryloth Radio has a question. What's going on with the Old Republic tag? Oh,
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'm getting feedback. I don't know what's going on, but I can hear myself. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it. I think it's coming from your end, Ranger.
I don't know how you're getting feedback.
I don't know. I can hear myself.
Now it's gone.
Okay, now it's gone. Cool. Awesome. Sweet. Okay. I don't know what they mean by that. We talked earlier about the Old Republic tag, and what they do is they tag people based on events. And so the last event they needed these characters tagged Old Republic, so they did for that Revan event. And now characters that are going to be needed for the next Old Republic event will be tagged Old Republic. Those that are not going to be used for that event will not be tagged as such. If they decide that someone such as HK47 needs to be used for that future event, they will tag him by changing his tags, and they've done that. Just like they went back and changed, made Rogue One a Rogue One tag, and they did that for the coding in territory battles. Because it became necessary. Before that, it wasn't necessary, so they never even gave them the Rogue One tag. They were just rebels. So anytime it's necessary in the game for a tag to be created for coding, then they make it. When it's unnecessary, then they just don't really do it. So not everything in the game makes complete Star Wars sense.
Yeah.
Warrior, So can I ask you a kind of a theory crafting question just to get your thoughts on something?
Sure.
So Canderous Ordo is a Mandalore. Now we have several Mandalore in the game, and one of the things a lot of people asking is, will we see a Mandalore tag? So one, do you think we'll see one? And two, even if they were to bring it in, what would you like to see them do with a Mandalore tag in the game?
So I would like to see a Mandalorian tag, and I think that would be cool. And I think there'd be some really fun events that they could do, and even a legendary character. There's a number of, Mandalore the Great, Mandalore the King. There's a ton of like massive high-end Mandalorians that are in Legend. Mandalore the Legend is literally one. So there are some really cool legendary style characters, but the characters that are in the game now, if they created a Mandalore tag and tagged all of those characters, people would be pissed because people argue that Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian, that Sabine is not a Mandalorian. And there's arguments to the other side. I see this on Reddit and there are people and on Facebook, people just arguing about it to argue about it. In fact, there was 2 arguments this week on Facebook about it alone because Ordo has been added, and it's like, oh my God! Like that would be like almost game suicide right now to even think about that tag right now, and they would almost benefit from bringing out Mandalorians that are from a certain era of Mandalorian history, and then bring out those lore characters. One, it would make them more money, which is what they do, and 2, it would appease both sides because there would be equivocal proof that they were from an actual Mandalorian era of Mandalore. But yeah, I would like to see the Mandalorian tag, and personally, I feel like if you are handed down Mandalorian armor and you have Mandalorian descent, you're Mandalorian. Period. So I think the arguments are kind of silly, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And another Mandalorian that prevents any of them being dazed, and then Garlead will work.
All right. Next question. Good old Maurice. Riverboy 12 question. I may be selling good mods. When should I start storing mods and unused characters? I'm 1.4 million GP, and I'm concerned of GP for the upcoming Grand Arena.
Okay, well, you've got, 500 slots in your inventory that can't be equipped? Is that right? Is it 500 that you can just store?
500, yeah. Not 10 characters.
Oh, well, I mean, I would suggest only putting mods on the characters that you are going to use for Grand Arena. Yes. We're all just speculating that lower GP will help your matchmaking. If the matchmaking works properly, if that's even a factor, we will see. But it's a good habit to just mod the characters that you use right now. And if you run out of room, it'll help you practice which mods are important. I mean, you get rid of the, there are certain stats we talked about earlier. Like if you've got like a gold mod, let's say it's got a little bit, like it rolled protection once, rolled protection percentage once, rolled defense percentage once, doesn't have any speed or anything like that. That's probably a mod you're not going to use. You just got to figure out which stats are important to you. I would suggest focusing on speed and offense, and even like the health primaries, the primaries aside, I would focus on offense and speed. If you have just mods without speed, obviously are not going to be very desirable in most cases. But that's not for all cases. You just you can't be a hoarder when it comes to mods anymore. I mean, you can hoard 500, but that should be plenty at 1.4 million GP. That should be plenty of space. And if your mod inventory is full at 1.4 million GP, you might want to consider maybe doing some Cantina farming while you decide which mods to delete, and kind of give yourself some time to figure that out. You're probably gonna need some characters at 1.4 million GP.
Alrighty then. Next question, Mike JLY9 has a question. His question is: I got Chewie to gear 12. Since he's always assisting and you need him alive to keep loyal friend up, is it a good idea to use protection arrow and crit chance triangle? I'm running a crit damage set at the moment.
Ooh, that would give him some longevity, yeah. And like he says, he's already assisting a lot.
Well, there's more here. It says, I'm going back and forth on the crit damage set versus offense set battle. Is it safe to say if crit chances above 50%, go with crit damage set? If crit chances below 50%, go with offensive set? So there's more to that question.
There is. Oh, hang on. If it's more than 50%, go with the offense set. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the harder he hits, the quicker they disappear. I'm kind of coming back to taking the speed arrow off for a protection one. The thing is that his two abilities kind of feed each other. So you do, and if you can get those rolling, then he's going to be immense as well. One of them, of course, is the fact that he does that AOE debuff, doesn't he? And invariably, you'll have at least one taunt on your position. So it's going to be down. My quandary here is that if he only works when he's assisting, either the people he's assisting need to be rapid and going constantly, because otherwise he's just standing there, and if he's just standing there, he's going to be targeted and taken out, which then robs the two characters that you want to work with. Yeah. Personally, I'd keep the speed on.
I mean, I do like the protection arrow and crit chance triangle.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it makes sense if you can make him as beefy and offensive as possible. Then, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, again, coming back to a lot of this, I was thinking earlier. I don't know whether there is one on Discord or whether it would actually be viable. But just having a mod server. What I was going to cut. We've been asked a lot about mods already today, and just something that sprung into my mind a few minutes ago was find a mentor. Find yourself a mod mentor. Most guilds have someone that is really, really clued up on mods, and as long as you don't spam them to death, so they mute you because you're pestering them too much. But go to them with valid questions on your mods. This is the mod. Is this a keeper or a binner? And if it is a keeper, where's it going? And kind of build your loadouts that way. Sorry, I know I digressed there, but digressed even.
Did a lot of dying.
Yeah. Thoughts pop into my head, and it's like, oh, chase that one.
Stay on target.
But sorry. So to finish off, do two loadouts. Do a protection set for Chewie and an offensive set for Chewie. Try them out. Test them against kind of like the same squad a few times. If you can afford to forfeit a few battles, just go through and see how does it perform. Is it performing how you want it to? Or maybe even switch it over. So go offensive on your climb because you want to climb, and then switch it over for the defensive more for sitting there to try and kind of prevent a free fall.
Okay. Next question, back to Warrior. From Mr. Metho, question: when do you think we will get a fleet raid?
It's one of those things I'm not sure when or if they're going to incorporate ships into the raid, but I think there's a lot of people that would like it, but I think there's more people that wouldn't. So I think they're afraid probably of, reception, that they want to deliver something that they think the vast majority of people would want. I do think that the possibility of like a actual raid being implemented, kind of like the Sith raid, but a new raid, and having a ship element in maybe one of the phases is a significant possibility. But yeah, I don't know if just a ship raid would fly or not. I mean, I personally would love it. I love ships just as much as I love the characters. I think there's a lot to be had there. In fact, ships is kind of like Arena was before mods, basically. And so it's a little easier to kind of figure out exactly what's going on in there, because you don't have to sit and study the opponent's mods to figure out exactly what they've done or where they're at. It's easier and faster to kind of analyze and assess the situation, so to speak. So yeah, I think it'd be cool. I'd like to see it, but as a standalone situation, maybe not, but as a section within a new raid, probably. And I'm guessing they have someone spearheaded to start a new raid of some sort that they'll work out for the next 6 to 8 months. Because I mean, in 6 to 8 months, the Sith raid will be on farm by like 80% of the guilds probably, and so it'll be one of those things they'll probably want to evolve it.
All right. Next question for good old Maurice. From Fat Tony 99. Question: what's the hardest hat phase to solo with Revan? I've soloed phase 4 so far, and I've come close to soloing phase 2, but I haven't tried phase 1 or 3 yet.
Well, I'm pretty sure phase 1 is always going to be the hardest to solo, just because it's so annoying. You got to count to 7. You gotta time everything right. Like, if you, I mean, I don't know. Are you talking about soloing the raid on auto? Because I mean, 3 and 4 are definitely probably going to be the easiest. Are you talking about manually playing it? Probably the same. I think 2 is probably it's going to be way more difficult than 4, right? So if you're using Revan to solo a single phase, let me see. There are so many teams that do well in phase 4. I'm not sure what you like. If you have a Zeta Finn team, if you have a Zeta Cody team, those teams can mop up P4. I would almost use your Revan for P2. I'm not sure I even really answered that. It's a good question. There are some videos out. Revan can actually solo the entire raid.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're starting with a single, okay, that's my answer. Go P2 and use another team for P4.
Yeah, you can use another team for P1.
I had to talk it out with myself, I guess, to give an answer. I apologize.
Yeah, let yourself know when you've got the right answer for yourself, and then let the rest of us know.
There we go.
That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. Yes, good question, though. That's a good one.
Yes, it is. All right, next, last question before we get to the fun questions from Danilo Papayas. And we're going to end with old Mikey. So, question, Monday or Tuesday, I unlock Treya. Oh, congrats. Can I play here with a 4-star Bastila Fallen? And if so, who are the other 3 that I take?
The first, right. First of all, congratulations. Secondly, yes. Thirdly, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, and Thrawn. That's your squad. So Treya lead. Hopefully you've got all the gear and all the ability mats to get her as maxed as pos, and a couple of Zetas on her. And then, we've discussed earlier that you're really going to have to tank her up, make her really, 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 really tanky. And then, you should be golden. And the faster you're thrown, the faster you're thrown, the better. You want to get those fractures out as quickly as possible. And then it's a case of having a look at the different strats. I mean, I was seeing today that people are theorizing that fracturing Grandmaster Yoda is actually better than fracturing Revan first, because he's the main damage dealer.
That's what I do.
So nullify GMY and then wait until the Annihilate comes up. As soon as Annihilate comes up, you want to annihilate Revan, because that gets rid of the re-heal thing. And then if there's a Jody on the squad, Jody's got to go. Otherwise, he's just going to keep reviving them. But yes, you can.
That's science.
Good luck. And we look forward to hearing Tuesday or Wednesday latest.
Yeah, get that unlock
We want a progress report.
That's right, damn it. All right, now it's time for some fun questions. Hello, next question for Warrior. Regarding the community selecting your next Zeta, you can just blame Finn, right? It's fun, it's easy, and everyone does it. Also, good morning,
I
everyone.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up? How's it going? Yeah, no, totally. And I'll blame Finn. But no, seriously, I went and looked at the thing, and I've got like one person that's voted for Rose Tico, which that would suck too. So don't vote for Rose Tico anymore. But everybody's voting for Mission. It's super sweet. It's like the whole community like donating to a good cause and trying to hook Warrior up. It's really quite awesome, and I really hope Mission wins because that was going to be my next Zeta. Literally, I'm 5 away from putting a Zeta on Mission, but I have to hold it to determine what the community judges, and then I have to put that Zeta on whatever they choose. So this is the opportunity. If you really got outraged at yesterday, 2 days ago's video that I did, where I showcased Emperor Palpatine just whooping up on Revan, and you're like, that is unrealistic. This is a dumb video. I love you, Warrior, but this video is trash. This is your opportunity to come back at me and punish me for a poorly made video and do it financially and serve a good cause.
So
FYI, everyone, the PAL Zeta is OP as hell.
Well, I think Warrior's saying is donate to Bodhi Rook, the pilot. I think he wants the pilot.
Or anybody else. I'd take a Rose Tico over a Bodhi Rook. If somebody wants to give me Rose Tico, shoot, I'd probably start using her in an alternate territory war team. But because I have her gear 12, but Bodhi Rook, he's one of the worst gears in the game. It's like General Kenobi is got the most purple requirements, and then right under him is Bodhi Rook. It's like, what? Why? He's not even good. And his Zeta is horrific. I mean, he literally gives one person at random offense up for one turn. What? That's not even sort of Zeta-able. And then so he's going to inevitably give it to a tank. Hey, here, have offense up for one freaking turn. So your tank hits instead of 4K, your tank will hit for 5K. Woo!
But he's a pilot. It's retarded. But he's a pilot.
He's retarded.
I can't wait to see the results. Darth Hideous question: what does Finn mean? The ACS people think he's an idiot. Well, that's true. That goes without question. Darth Hideous question: where is Adasha and where is Maurice's Canadian? Where's your old Canadian maple syrup coffee drinking buddy there, good old Maurice?
I'm gonna guess that she's probably in Canada.
That's a good answer. I know why T Money can be on. She has to take care of her. She has a sick little one, so she's a little busy, which is understandable. Adestra, I'm not sure. She probably just got busy, couldn't be on, so it's all good. Sometimes people can be on, sometimes they can't. It's all fine. I didn't check to see if there was a reason given, but doesn't really need to give one. She can be on, she can be on. She can't. Verge Grande Chicon question: will Warrior still Zeta character if the goal isn't met? Scissorman Warrior?
This is the deal. We set a ridiculous goal because I really don't want to do this. So, I really don't want to do this.
You have to hit the goal,
So we
guys.
set a stupid goal. So the goal is ridiculous, but I also don't want the community to go, well, there's no way we're going to hit that goal. I mean, we're at $70 and we asked for a couple grand. So I don't want people to say oh, well, it's not even worth it. First off, it's worth the cause no matter what. And as good faith, whatever it ends out, I will allow the community to choose regardless.
Yeah.
So if we hit 100, if we hit 500, if we hit 700, if we hit 50, whatever, I don't care. I'll allow it to go through no matter what. I'll even make a video on it. So everybody knows they have proof that I used my Zeta for what I said it was. I set a high goal because when we talked about it, to be honest, I didn't want to do it. I hate the thought of it. It's just a terrible idea. But it is a really good cause, and just like I personally am donating and want to help out. I really want everybody else to consider that. So yes, if we fall short of the goal, and we will probably because I set the goal really high to prevent it, I will honor that, and everybody can hold me to my word.
Don't worry, Warrior. You just don't know the community. You will hit the goal, buddy. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen. Let's see. Freedom. If you were trapped on a desert island and you could only take 2 of your mods with you, which 2 would you take? best two God mods, I would think. Freedom question: is Revan non-binary? What? Anybody speaking the non-binary language on this one? Is Revan non-binary?
I think they're talking about like gender.
Oh.
I was going to say he's got two arms, so yeah, he's binary.
Oh, get the hell out, Mike. Hell, next question for Ranger. I have so many tunes to gear and so few resources. I need a Wells Fargo's loan. Where's Grande Pappy Patroni to expedite my loan application? He's a big deal. He shows up when he wants to. He does what he wants to. He's Carrie's pull boy. He's busy. John Davies, no. John Davies, shame on you. He wrote pork, ding, 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 pork. Awful. My boy, I'm not trying to say your name again. Longu Fambine. Who is your shard nemesis? I don't have a shard nemesis. Do any of you guys have a specific shard nemesis?
You know, I don't know if I call him a shard nemesis because him and I talk. His name's Harun. He's got the best mods on the entire leaderboard, and he'll message me on Facebook from time to time. He's funny. He leaves some funny comments and stuff. He refuses to be a part of our leaderboard chat because he wants to have the challenge, but he has the best mod, so it's a position he can voluntarily choose for. And so he's kind of the shard nemesis, if you will, because he climbs every time he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. He hits people, he frustrates people. I find it kind of comical. I think it's great that we have one of those guys that's willing to kind of challenge the status quo and just kind of move to the beat of his own drum.
God. Let's see. Elliot Worsfold, what is everyone hoping we get for the 3rd-year anniversary? I don't have anything specific in mind.
7-star C3PO.
Yeah, good luck with that, buddy.
At a minimum.
I'm really hoping for 3 Clone Wars Chewbacca shards myself.
You have hope still for that?
I feel like in the past they gave us a full Zeta. Did they not? That would be cool.
They did last year.
Yeah.
So they have to up it. They can't just do less than they did last year. They have to do equal to or greater than. And I think it should be greater than. So if they're listening, a Zeta plus another Zeta. There you go. 2 Zetas, 2 full Zetas. Say congratulations.
I heard that they heard about your pledge, Warrior, and they're saying that they can't do that because otherwise you get a free ride on your Zeta deployment.
Yeah.
Give it after I waste my Zeta.
Mm-hmm. Verge Grande has another question. Is Ward taking Brody to Gear 12 when he's Zeta'd? My God, Warrior, don't even answer that.
I didn't even hear the question.
Oh, it says from Verge Grande, Chacon, is Warrior taking Brody to Gear 12 when he's Zeta'd?
I have to. There's no point in having a Zeta character with
Your OCD knows no bounds.
And I am OCD, and I don't want to do it because I've shown it on another video. I am stuck because he requires 3 pieces to go to Gear 12 that require 162 pieces each. It's like almost 500 pieces of purple for 3 slots for one freaking stupid character I've never used. Like, are you kidding me? This is so pointless. I don't get his gearing requirements. It's absolute insanity.
It does not make sense.
It does not make
sense. He's not even a pilot. He's not even crew.
No, he's not even a crew member, or I would have already done it because I've got all my crew members to Gear 12.
Oh, yeah. La. Kazakage, too easy. Question, do we need to plan another siege to CG headquarters again? I believe they haven't learned their lesson with Lord Revan. Well, I may do that. Like that Bud Light commercial where they're we'll have War distract them, and then I'll get the Bud Light night, and we'll do a siege. Let's see here. Tress from Rogue One says, we finished our 3rd heroic Sith raid this morning. Congrats. Shout out to Rogue One for sticking together, not losing any key members of Trade Chase, and not needing any Murkies. Well, congrats to you guys. And then finally, Helenix says, question, everyone on today's panel is awesome. And the community owes a lot of its success to your guys' efforts. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone, especially for the ACS charity. Well, you are more than welcome, Helenix. We love what we do, and we love the community. It's easy to do when you have great people you're doing it for. All right, that's enough of that nonsense and stuff. That's all the fun questions and things. Now we're going to go around and let everybody pimp their stuff, and we're going to start with our boy Scissorman Warrior. Warrior, where can folks check you out at?
Pimp, 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 pimp,
Shit.
pimp. Oh, is that not how you do it?
Word,
Okay,
homie.
so I am on YouTube. No surprise there. I have two channels: my Warriors roster reviews, which is my alt YouTube account, which has all the roster reviews on it, and then which there are some nuggets in there. I'm telling you, everybody who watches tells me, "Dude, you don't talk about that. Why?" And I'm like, "Well, that's because that's for people who care enough to watch those boring videos." And then I have my main channel, which is my Warrior Presents, of course. And something kind of cool is kind of cool. I'm kind of excited about it. When you go and watch a video, look below the video and you'll actually see an entire merchandising line. It's kind of cool. I'm kind of excited about it because I've got I was the first person to buy from it. I'm kind of a snob like that. It's kind of funny. I went in and I bought from my own store. I bought myself a mug and I bought my girls leggings because they wear leggings because that's a thing. And they're actually pretty awesome. I've only done one design so far, but I'm pretty excited about it. I've never done merchandise in my life, and so I launched that just recently. And the store's attached to my YouTube, so when you're in YouTube, while you're watching a video, you can scroll through the store and look at the stuff. You don't have to buy anything; just go look. It's pretty cool. It's kind of cool. It's fun. It's a hobby that's definitely got a mind of its own and kind of taking off. So it's kind of fun to be able to scroll through and see all the different weird and silly things I've got, like socks and coffee mugs and weird stuff. I'm looking for a place to do hats because, truth be told, a lot of people actually requested hats, and I can't.
Oh yeah.
I can't do hats anywhere. Amazon doesn't do hats.
Finn has a site. Get with him. He can get you squared away because we just
because I want to be able to do hats.
Yeah, we just got some made for the charity stuff, and he's already gotten the hats. So get with Finn, and he can square you away.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to wear a hat on my stream. It's actually my hat. That'd be kind of cool.
Have Scissorman Warrior. That'd be pimp. You have maybe Silverbolt do you an image or something. All right, so please check out Warrior's channel. Good old Maurice, you and T Money got all kinds of crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, I'm half of Operation Metaverse. T Money is the other half, and there are many community members that are helping us out, providing videos, so you guys get videos from all sorts of, like our most recent video. Much like Warrior, we got put under the microscope a little bit, but we showcased a lot of community members using their Bastila to defeat Revan. So we got all sorts of stuff going on. We do a weekly live stream Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. EST. We do impromptu ones every once in a while. We did one last Thursday. That was pretty fun. We've got some videos coming. We have kind of stalled out the videos the last couple of weeks. But we have 2 or 3 of them in the works now. So yeah, you guys can check us out there on Operation Metaverse on YouTube. I also do the live stream with Ramon Azab, who is a panelist here from time to time with you guys. We do it Sunday nights, about 12:30 a.m. I guess it is. So right after midnight, we go live there. And yeah.
Very nice. And then last but not least, Mike. He's part of the RSG crew, but he does have his own YouTube channel. Pimp your stuff there, buddy.
I do. I just had a quick look, and I've been going on about it for weeks and weeks. That I'm coming to a landmark for my channel, which is Mike Hunt SWGOH. And that is that I'm really close, as in I need 349 more views to have 1 million views.
Over 9,000?
Over 9,000. I'm overwhelmed and humbled just by the support I've had over my little channel, which I just thank you, and it's a pleasure to be part of the community. I did a Bastila Shan Fallen Treyarch battle. It's entitled, I think it's called trials and tribulations of a fallen triumvirate. One, and the emphasis was on one. So that was published yesterday, and the other 6, including some major car crash battles, will be going up today. Playing around with ships like Warrior, I kind of enjoy and want to teach my phone how to fly when I'm playing ships. But on the whole, I enjoy it. So I'll be uploading a load more shippy whips as well. And I've actually got it planned. I've had agreement from my 2 daughters that when we hit the million, it won't be immediately, but as soon as we are able to do it, we're going to do not a full reveal, but we'll do a reveal finally, which is something that I've been saying I'll do on my channel for 2 years. But yeah, thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure being part of the RSG.
All right. And if you're watching this, then of course you're watching this on the Reality Scoop Gamers channel. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We do a lot of live streaming like the Jedi Academy, which we do every Saturday. Note, next Saturday we will not be doing Jedi Academy. It is Thanksgiving weekend. We're all going to be out celebrating Thanksgiving weekend with our families and stuff. Thursday's Thanksgiving, Friday's Black Friday. There's a lot of stuff going on, so it's just too much going on. So there will be no Jedi Academy next weekend. So just a heads up for you guys. But typically every other Saturday during the year, we do Jedi Academy from this time to about noon, like we are finishing up now. We have other streams that we got going on Monday through Friday. We have the lunch stream. Every Wednesday we have our normal Wednesday night stream, the longest running live stream in the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes community. We also have other stuff that we're doing. We have Tuesday night game night. We have the D&D campaign that we're running next Sunday or tomorrow to continue our D&D campaign. So we do that as well. If you haven't already, besides our channel, check out these other channels, guys. These guys take the time to be here, answer your questions, help you with your game. So the least you can do is go check out their channels, watch the videos, subscribe, help them grow. So to show your support for them being here, that's the best way to do it. So yeah, no Jedi Academy next week, but we will be doing everything up to Wednesday, and then probably not a lot of streaming going on Thursday through Sunday next week for us. It's Thanksgiving, guys. You gotta spend your time with your family. So I think that covers everything. So on behalf of myself and the Jedi Academy, thank you one and all for being here. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll check you out when we do. We'll be doing some more live streaming. You can come hang out with us anytime at night. We're always doing Heroes of the Storm and things of that nature. So I'm having myself the great panel. Everyone have a great rest of your day, and we will holler at you later. Peace out.
Vote for mission.